Welcome, everyone. It's so glad to be here again. It's been almost 5.5 months since we last met on the huddle, but we've been trying to make sure that we find the right time to do this. As you all know, we've all been going through difficult times in the last few months, just like Juhi called out. And I think we wanted to find the right moment where at least folks in India are also slowly starting to get out of this, although we know it's not very far behind us. We are hoping that today we would be able to see more people join us here, given that we've found large parts of the country back in lockdown, and hopefully many of you are safe, right? So I want to start out by welcoming you guys again here. And I'm very happy that we are able to catch up again and talk about what's been going on the developer platform. So without further ado, let's get started. As usual, I'm going to try and give you a high level picture of what has been going on the developer platforms in the last few months, and to get you into the groove with respect to what you might expect in the coming few weeks and months, right, through this year. So let's take a step back and imagine that we are able to do something which unfortunately we've not been able to do, right, in the recent year or so. So let's imagine we are all actually gathered not in a Zoom room, but in this beautiful meadow where the sun is about to set and there is a cool breeze blowing. You can smell the flowers around you. It's a great place for us to get together and have a good chat about the developer community, about the challenges you face, about what we are building together, right? This is the setup that we are going to imagine ourselves in for the next few minutes or so, right? So smell the flowers, breathe in the fresh air, and join me here for a few minutes. Yeah, so taking a step back, it's been over a year. Just like Juhi said, we were hoping that we would be in a different place, in different shapes by this time, but obviously the virus and the world around us had different plans, right? And so I wonder how many of us were imagining that we would still be here more than a year later, right? And some of these sites that you see in this picture, for example, have become very, very common in our everyday lives. I know many of you have had to go through a lot of suffering, whether directly or indirectly, because of close family members or friends and relatives having to go through hospitalization, urgent treatment, running around for resources, right? All of this has suddenly become a nightmare which has come true. And for all of you who are either emerging slowly out of this or still going through this or have already suffered, we offer prayer so that you will heal and get back to what is closer to normal. Some of you are probably still in the middle of this lockdown, don't know when it is going to be over. The future still seems as bleak as before. We'll wish you all the strength so you can hang out and hang around and see this through. I'm sure there is a bunch of you who are already starting to look at the brighter side because, hey, there are vaccines around the corner and you probably got one shot or two shots as well. And so now you can start looking at the brighter side and think about bigger and better things that you might be able to do, coming out of your silos and walking out and meeting more people and at least hanging out with some friends. These are things that you can start imagining. So good tidings to you guys if you are in that section. And we hope to join you there very soon as well. So one thing we have seen in the last year or so, obviously, is the fact that if nothing else, the pandemic has reminded us change is something that is always happening, right? Uh, it has actually maybe accelerated in the last year or so, and we have seen a lot of things change around us. I mean, just the fact that we are joining you here on Zoom again for the fourth time tells you that some of these things are here to stay as well, right? So a lot has changed in the world and we are starting to get used to some of it. And this change has obviously not left Freshworks behind as well. And there is a transformation we see Freshworks itself is also going through, right? Today, I'll spend some time trying to enlighten you guys about some of the changes we have been witnessing from our perspective and wanted to make sure that you guys are also up to date and you can join us on this journey that Freshworks is now undergoing, right? So the main theme that we have seen in the last year or so is that Freshworks has been able to actually succeed as a business because despite the unfortunate circumstances that surround us, our software and our services are actually more in demand than before. Because as you can imagine, people actually need more of these online support systems, online chat systems, and online sales systems to actually continue their business and scale it in this era of pandemics. So we have been successful not only as a growing business, but also have been able to attract more enterprise customers, right? So these are the customers who have certain set of expectations, which I'll quickly call out shortly. So as you may have imagined, some of the obvious things that a big customer expects is they bring a lot of traffic, right? And this is very true to even some of the apps that you're going to build and host for these customers. And I think if you go back to the last huddle we had, you will remember that at least one of the middle talks we had was around the fact that we were scaling one particular app for a very big customer of ours during a very big cricketing event in India, right? And so we had to go through a lot of hoops to make sure we could support such big customers. I am very proud to say that today, after a year's worth of investments, we at least feel a lot more confident from the platform perspective that we can actually stand up to this demand of enterprise scale, right? So some numbers here, just for you guys to enjoy as mind candy. We've essentially grown from 1 million to 750 million in terms of our serverless app invocations per month within 4 years, which is phenomenal scale. The other investment we actually put last year is we've realized that the time between an event actually occurring and the app being triggered should be as small as possible. And this is again something that your large customers expect. And so with a lot of engineering investments, we've been able to bring this down to 1 second, where at the turn of last year, it was 1 minute, right? So we've brought that 90th percentile down to 1 second, which means most of your events will trigger within 1 second of the actual event happening. Some other numbers will show you how other important features of our platform have also grown similarly. So scale is one aspect. The other aspect obviously is security, right? So enterprise customers carry a lot more risk in terms of their data because they have data about thousands or millions of customers, and their business probably runs on data, and they cannot afford to lose any of this data into the wrong hands, right? So security actually becomes a lot more important, especially if you're playing with enterprise customers. And as we play a big part in helping these customers succeed, our developers and our platform have a very big role in making sure that these solutions that we offer are very secure. So if you have been watching our forum, you've probably seen in the last few weeks, we've sort of done a few urgent deployments and often even disappointed you by breaking some apps. But these are active steps we are taking based on an analysis of how we should be improving our security posture for our enterprise customers, right? So this story is just starting. Last year was the story of scale. This year is going to be the story of security. So you'll see some of the things that we're planning to do. We'll, for example, start to introduce more understanding of roles within apps so that apps can actually make sure they're working in the right context. Similarly, apps will be able to understand what scopes they should execute in, what should they be able to do and what should they not be able to do. For example, an app should not be able to delete something because the administrator did not authorize you to delete it. And you will see some more unification around our features so that there's no confusion about which feature to use when for the right security purposes. So you will see all of this happening this year. I'll request you guys to stay up to date and keep an eye on the forum so that we'll proactively tell you what is coming. At the same time, I want to take a stand and say we are sorry because some of these deployments, the 2 deployments that we did last week, were a little urgent because our security teams had essentially decided that these are things that cannot be delayed. As soon as we found them, we had to actually plug the hole, right? Unfortunately, so we found 7 apps that actually needed some workarounds and immediate fixes. And especially for those developers who had to go through some harrowing troubleshooting experiences because of our deployments, I want to say sorry, right? I also want to make sure you believe that we have learned from this experience. All our developer advocates were involved in the learning experience. And going forward, every single security update will actually come with a heads up because we don't believe there are other P0 changes that we need to make. So we'll give you a decent heads up so that you can prepare for the future changes, right? But until then, thanks for bearing with us. So while these two aspects, scale and security, are important, let's not forget that Freshworks basically found its success because of the simplicity of how it was to use our products. So self-service, for example, is one of our basic mantras. We believe that SaaS software should be as self-serviceable as possible. And we want to basically give you the confidence that we are not going to change this stand either at Freshworks or on this developer platform. For your app developer experience, we will not make sacrifices. Despite the fact that we'll continue investing in scale and security, the developer experience and the simplicity of building with our platform will actually continue to improve, right? And why is this true? Because at our heart, we are still a SMB company. We started off being an SMB organization selling to SMB companies ourselves. And we still value our SMB customers as much as we do all our bigger customers, right? For those of you wondering what an SMB is essentially a small and medium business, typically of 10 to 50 customers, 10 to 50 employees. So I do also want to tag a session which will follow right after mine, where we'll sort of show you how we have tried to build more simplicity into our development experience by helping some of you build apps with React and Vue, right? So watch out for that session coming up right after me, where Vale will walk you through this. At the same time, another important aspect of what Freshworks brings as a refreshing change into the SaaS experience is wow experiences, right? So Freshworks is trying to differentiate itself in the market by saying that you should be able to wow your users, right? And so that same ethos is what we want to bring to our app developers as well. If you have been building apps for Freshcaller or Freshteam, you've already seen this experience that I'm showing on the screen. Very soon, we'll be rolling this out for all other products. As you can imagine, Freshdesk and Freshservice, some of the bigger products, require a little more hand-holding and little more integration. So those are lagging a little behind, but the new app management experience will be live for all products very soon. This is basically one first step. You should imagine that there will be a lot more coming behind this, like dashboards for developers and better troubleshooting experience, all inside of the app management portal. The other thing we are seeing a lot happening this year is we are opening our doors to more developers and partners to join our ecosystem, right? We believe that as we are chasing bigger customers, the number of projects that we need to offer for completion of these customers' requirements are actually growing. And we have to support a lot more developers like yourself to be able to join us on this journey and succeed with our customers on our platform. So our developer advocacy team has been hard at work preparing what we are essentially calling this expressway. The expressway is basically a set of tutorials and resource materials, which hand in hand with your work experience will help you grow into a seasoned platform developer, right? So what this picture shows you, for example, is that we have prepared a set of certification programs that will come back live again, which you should be able to start taking and identify yourself as either a qualified platform developer or a seasoned platform developer or a veteran platform developer. We've identified these three levels in our developer certification so far. The qualified level is already live, but it only applies for new developers. All of you who've already been in the system for at least 6 months can probably consider yourself as qualified. For all new developers, we'll essentially bring them into the qualified system. For other developers, within a couple of months, you'll start seeing our seasoned certification coming live again. You will remember, some of you have probably taken this certification in one of our offline huddles in the past, but we have basically now changed gears. It took us some time, but we are finally here. We are going to offer both self-paced tutorials so that if you check out our developer.freshworks.com/tutorials page, you will find 16 tutorials out there already. More are on the way. You'll also find that our certification programs will now be online and on demand. So you can take them whenever you are ready. So keep an eye on our announcements so that you will hear about all of these coming in the next few weeks. Another big change that Freshworks is going through is the fact that we are trying to simplify our product offering. As you all know, we have 10 products offered out there. And we are starting to realize that especially for the bigger customers, they are more interested in buying things in a bundle, right? So instead of buying everything piecemeal, we are starting to actually package things and offer to our customers as a bundle. You have probably already seen one step towards this bundle last year when we launched Freshworks CRM. There is more along the way. And yes, unfortunately, your simple mental model of Freshworks product is going to change a little, which may cause confusion in the short term. And we are watching out for you. Please be confident of that. Our developer advocates are keeping developer experience front and center while all of these new capabilities are being designed for you. We have a session. I want to tag that session for later today, where our product manager GB will walk you through what we have planned, what bundles actually mean, and how it might affect developers like you and what you should be prepared for. So watch out for that session as well. One of the other things we launched late last year was our custom objects early access program, which I like to call as a EAP. And to actually spur more participation and get more feedback, we launched an incentive program, which was called Build to Win. I'm very happy to announce that we got 5 eligible submissions who were able to build very compelling applications using the custom objects capability. And we've learned a lot from all of these experiences. Each of these developers is eligible for the cash prize as well. So thank you very much, Chris, Mohammed, Gautam, Ajit, and Taylor. And congratulations. Also, 2 of these will also be sharing their story later today as part of our Minnal talk. So you can hear and learn from them what it means to build an app using custom objects and how powerful it is. As usual, I want to thank all our community champions. It has been a great pleasure to see the participation increasing day by day. It's not just the number of questions we are seeing, but also the number of voluntary answers and contributions from each one of you in the developer community has been growing all the time, right? You guys are dedicating your time and energy to helping other people, which is a blessing for the community as a whole, because we see more confidence in the members reaching out to each other, growing as well. So I want to take the time to not only thank you for this, but let's take a minute to recognize our champions as well. Samuel, Yusra, Sarfraz, Arshad, Zach, and I think Hemi. At the same time, one of the important initiatives that Freshworks is taking this year is we have decided as a company, we are going to focus on increasing app adoption, right? In the past, if you have built public apps and launched them through our marketplace, you had very little traction in terms of actually increasing the installations, and you were at the mercy of users discovering your apps by accident. Today, we have actually taken a homegrown, full-blown program, which is going to increase app adoption, because we believe that more apps leads to happier customers who will stay with Freshworks for a longer time. So there is obviously a mutual incentive in ensuring that there are more users for apps. So we'll share more details as we are able to, but this is one of the top goals that we have taken as a platform for this year, to ensure that there are more public app installs and more custom app installs within our platform, right? If you are a developer who already has like a paid app out there, you might see that your business owners are frustrated because of the payments not being very streamlined. This is another thing that we are solving right now. So you should be able to get regular payments and payouts from the marketplace from the next quarter. At the same time, there will be other initiatives to ensure more people can find your apps and use them and try them and become your happy customers, right? So watch out for all these things which are coming very soon. Another important thing that we've noticed is that our support model was a little broken, because some of you were reaching out to our teams using the Freshdesk support portal, and some of you were reaching out to us using the community. Some of these questions don't belong in the community because there is some individualistic angle to it, like, hey, I want to increase rate limits for my particular app, or I'm trying to essentially do something specific to one customer and one app. So some of these requests did not necessarily belong in the community, and you probably felt that they better belong in a support portal. But then when it follows the support process, it takes a little longer to get to our teams. So our developer advocacy team has put together a completely new portal, especially for our developers and partners, which we are calling Dev Assist. It is live as of today. You can go and check out this link as well. It essentially is a one-stop portal where you'll find a catalog of solutions to reach out to us for immediate help, right? So for example, if you wanted to increase the rate limit for a particular app, there will be a form right there for you to give the details and someone will act on it immediately. Or tomorrow when the certification programs are live, you can go to the Dev Assist portal, sign up to take the certification, and you'll get a link to essentially take the certification from the Dev Assist portal. So all of these things which don't belong in the community can now be taken care of from the Dev Assist portal. I want to tag something that we've been trying to reach out to you guys and get feedback on, which is our annual developer survey. Going forward, we'll ask you once a year, how do you feel being a partner, a member of the community? How do you feel working on the developer platform? How has your experience been working with our marketplace, right? So we invite you to join this survey. I'll request Joey to share this link again on chat so that you can have it handy as well. But we value your feedback a lot because we learn a lot through your feedback. I'll share another example later of how we've actually learned a lot from your feedback. But everything that you guys tell us is something we take at heart, and we try to involve our product managers, our engineers in the discussions. And you can be sure that even if not immediately, in the near future, you'll see some of this change, how we perceive our developer experience. So I invite you to join us and fill this survey. It will take 15 minutes or so of your time. This is one example of how our community came together to give us feedback. And I want to thank all these 15 volunteers for helping us with very valuable feedback on crayons, right? So if you'll remember in December, when we did the last huddle, we asked you about how you felt about crayons and what you would need to actually be able to take crayons into some of your apps. And we learned that there are some edginess about crayons and the fact that maybe you didn't feel it is ready, right? So we requested our developer advocacy team to reach out to you, and they actually did that in the last couple of months. And 15 of you were kind enough to share detailed feedback, either on a survey or on a call one-on-one, where we learned exactly what your expectations are, what challenges you run into. And thanks to all this feedback, we already created a immediate roadmap, right? So I've listed a few of the things that you can start to see already showing up in our crayons project on the open source repo, which we are actively working on right now. We'll take the lead and make these changes on the crayons toolkit ourselves. Of course, you as community members, and this being an open source repo, you are invited to join us as well, right? For now, we are going to take the lead and take this repo to the next level of maturity, so you feel that you can use it in more use cases. So with that, I want to sort of call this section to an end. Hopefully, I was able to give you a picture of where we are moving as a company and what you guys can expect to happen in the next few months. We have a separate section from our product manager who might give you a closer look into the roadmap itself. So I'm not going to into the roadmap per se, but I was here to try and give you a bigger picture of the trends that we are seeing and where Freshworks is going and where you guys will be able to join us, right? So today, let's look forward to these sessions that are ahead of us. First, we'll see a talk from Vail, who is going to essentially show us how to build apps with React and Vue using our latest FDK. You will also get a session from our product manager, GB, who will essentially help you understand how the landscape is emerging from within Freshworks and how you should prepare for that. There will be a session from Raviraj as well on serverless best practices. As you saw, serverless is one of our top features and fastest growing ever. And we want to make sure that as we are solving bigger and greater problems, each one of you is aware of the right way to go about using serverless as well. And we'll end the day with a couple of minute talks from, like I said earlier, two of the folks who actually finished our custom objects EAP. So you will learn the power of custom objects yourself, right? So with that, let's declare the huddle open. Thank you very much, guys.